Well, it comes that time of the week when we go out to the other coast of the United States, which happens to be Hollywood, California, wherein lies Michael Snyder, who sits in a darkened movie theater with probably nobody around him now to watch the latest films, which nobody's going to go out to see. Thank you, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine, believe it or not, and hanging in here, but the movies that we're going to talk about today that are opening wide are probably best seen on video anyway, so, consider this a message from the future. And we'll kick it off with Bloodshot, where Vin Diesel gives probably the most nuanced performance of his career. Not saying much, I know. It's the first adaptation of a Valiant Comics superhero in what Sony probably hopes is going to be a tentpole that will lead to other movies featuring the indie comic publisher's various characters. Vin plays Ray Garrison, a valiant... See what I did there? A valiant soldier who was killed in action, but not before his life is turned into a living hell. Then Ray is brought back to life with enhanced strength and speed and Wolverine-level healing powers via nanotech, thanks to research and development at a corporation run by Guy Pearce's character, Dr. Emil Harding. That's right, Guy Pearce and Vin Diesel together for the first time. With all these capabilities, Ray, who is codenamed Bloodshot, is now capable of exacting revenge on the villain who took his life after ruining it. Joined by other soldiers repaired by Dr. Harding, Ray swings into action, but not all is what it seems. This is a pretty lively B-movie with enough action and twists and turns to make it fun. And again, it's probably Vin's best starring role since the first Pitch Black role he had, which I guess isn't saying much. But I was entertained watching it, and it has the benefit of Pierce, plus a few other actors I like, Toby Kebbell, Tallulah Riley, and even new girls, Lamorne Morris. Should you see it in the theater? Well, not necessary. It's going to play well at home for all the people who love superhero movies, and it will get to streaming pretty quickly, especially in the current climate. I'd have to say that The Hunt, the latest take on the idea of humans as the most dangerous game, falls into that should be a blast on video category. You may recall that its release was postponed due to trumped-up right-wing fears that it would inflame serial killers, I guess. I don't know. They suggest Hollywood does this kind of thing in a standard bit of Republican deflection and blame shifting. But the movie is funny and violent and has a few twists of its own, including a rather muddled political point of view, as a group of wealthy elites who are coded as liberals hunt a group of down-home working-class right-wingers who have been drugged and kidnapped from their red state lodgings and revived in a killing ground. If you wonder what side the filmmakers are on, keep wondering. I mean, the best response would be nobody's, although the characterization of wealthy, heartless elites as liberals seems way off the mark. I mean, how about the Koch brothers and their ilk? Anyway, the casting is a bit surprising. It includes, among others, Betty Gilpin of Glow, Ike Barinholtz of Mad TV, Emma Roberts of American Horror Story, and the highly respected Amy Madigan. And whoa! That's two-time Oscar winner Hilary Swank. I actually laughed out loud a number of times at the movie, and there's one elongated climactic fight scene that is one of the coolest I've seen in a while. Still, this isn't prestige movie making, and if you keep that in mind, it's a blast, particularly if you watch it in your living room. Okay, how about a movie that actually would be considered a quality film? Never, rarely, sometimes, always is heartbreakingly real to the point of feeling like we're eavesdropping on the actual people involved in some kind of candid camera, naturalistic documentary situation. It gets very close and personal, sometimes uncomfortably, with the painful odyssey undertaken by Autumn, a teenage girl from small-town Pennsylvania whose life and plans are going to be derailed by an unwanted pregnancy. Now, she can't get an abortion close to home, so she needs to journey on the down low with her cousin Skylar to New York City, where the two girls encounter various challenges that are harrowing in the most intimate of ways. The young actresses playing Autumn and Skylar, Sydney Flanagan and Talia Ryder, respectively, are truly wonderful. Flanagan is an amazing find. You never doubt that they are legitimately going through the gauntlet they face, especially Autumn. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always was written and directed with brutal honesty and a gentle hand at the same time by Eliza Hittman, who should have quite a career ahead of her. It's a jewel of a movie that left me gutted. I mean, seriously. Now, Big Time Adolescence is a solid and often charming coming-of-age film about a 16-year-old boy, a smart and decent kid, who bonds with his older sister's shiftless boyfriend and continues the friendship after Sis breaks up with the guy. It's obvious that Mo, the high schooler played by Griffin Gluck, is going to take a wrong turn or two or 10 by hanging out with Zeke, a lovable ne'er-do-well played surprisingly well by Pete Davidson of SNL, who may be doing a thinly fictionalized version of the actual man-child Pete Davidson, but adding a moving, even tragic undercurrent to the comic side of things. It's kind of an eye-opening about the time passing when you see John Cryer as the father in a teen-skewing comedy considering his John Hughes roots, but he's fine as Moe's frustrated father. Again, Big Time Adolescence will play well on video. Just quickly, in foreign films, Sorry We Missed You is the latest from the incredibly talented Ken Loach, UK director, and this one's about the gig economy kind of tearing up a family struggling as the dad decides to become a quote-unquote self-employed van driver and delivery guy. Really potent stuff and sad and all too topical. Young Ahmed is the latest from the Dardenne brothers from Belgium, and it's about a kid, 13 years old, a Muslim, who's basically being used by his imam at the local mosque as a pawn and bringing him into radicalized Muslim beliefs and how this impacts his family. And, oh, my God, this also left me a little shook. And finally, I do want to also give thumbs up to Bacurau, which is kind of a bizarre genre mix of Western and sci-fi set in a small and distant Brazilian community that is basically invaded by people that want to just have a little sport, killing others. Sounds a little bit like The Hunt, but it's a little more high-class stuff. Bacurau from Brazil. And that's it in terms of movies you can see. And again, all of them are going to be available on video soon, I hope.
Yeah, but there's no need to review movies, I think, for a couple more weeks now, because there's not going to be anything being released of any note, and the theaters are closing down like crazy. So
yeah, I'm tending to agree with you, and in fact, they are, basically postponing all the big budget films, and the big bangers are what makes Hollywood go, and you're probably right about that.
Yeah, and people are not going to go to movie theaters. Last weekend they may have because the thing hadn't hit its peak, but now because it's hitting its peak, I would not take the chance of going into a movie theater. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on board with you on that one.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. What are you watching on video? Anything?
Good show over on FX, who always has good shows. They're just terrific. Called Devs, and it's really. If you haven't seen it, don't miss this. I think it's very good. It's done by Alex Garland, who did Ex Machina, and it's a series. It's 8 episodes. I think they list it as a mini series that it's going to just be one time. It's not going to be a continuing thing, and it's really very, very good.
I hear it's sort of a futurist thing. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, it's a futurist thing, but it's a mystery. Well, it isn't a mystery. I mean, what I like about the show, as opposed to a lot of these other binge-watch shows, is that it doesn't leave you with a cliffhanger every week. You know from the very beginning who got killed and who killed him, But from there, they take off on a lot of other tangents. So there are no mysteries every week to be resolved. There's just a story to be continued, and it's terrific. I think it's one of the better shows of this sort that I've seen in a long time. Anyway,
yeah. Cool. I'll be looking forward to it. I'm also, of course, excited about the card wrapping up, and you can catch.
By the way, Alison Pill is also in Devs as well. Yeah. As you were saying.
Yes. Anyway, and in addition to being on Twitter, you can check in with us on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page, and we'll be back when we're back.
And there's more GABNet coming right up.